I'll confess something most women never admit. The reason older men make us weak isn't money. It's not security. It's not even experience. It's tricks. Psychological tricks that flip the frame so completely. We lose control of our own desire. And once you master them, women of all ages will chase you. See, younger men lose the frame constantly. They over-explain. They beg. They pursue like hungry wolves. But older men who know these 17 tricks, they radiate something we can't resist. Complete control. And I'm about to expose every single one. Things women discuss in private but would never tell you directly. Fair warning, one of these tricks makes us cheat in our heads, even when we're completely committed to someone else. Another makes us fight other women for your attention, even when we swore we'd never compete over a man. And the most dangerous one, that's number 15, the throne rule. Because once you master it, no woman can ever replace you. We'll regret losing you for years. Ready to hear what we really think? Let's start with the first secret, the stillness effect. When a man moves with deliberate stillness, my body responds before my brain even knows what's happening. Most men are fidgety, restless, talking with their hands frantically. It screams insecurity. But older men who understand attraction, they move like predators. Calm, unhurried, purposeful. The psychology here is primal. Stillness signals complete confidence in your own space. When you walk into a room and plant yourself with quiet authority, we notice when you speak without gesturing wildly, we listen harder. The effect? We start mirroring your energy. We calm down. We lean in. Our voices drop to match yours. You're controlling the entire interaction without saying a word, and it's intoxicating. The rule, master your physical presence first. Slow your movements by 20%. Let your body language communicate power while your mouth stays quiet. But stillness isn't enough without mystery. Layered mystery. We fall hardest for men we can't completely figure out. Most men vomit their entire life story on the first date. Dreams, fears, childhood trauma, bank account details. It kills attraction instantly because there's nothing left to discover. But older men with game, they reveal themselves in layers. Each conversation unveils just enough to keep us hooked, but never enough to satisfy our curiosity completely. It drives us absolutely insane. Here's the psychology. When you drop hints about your past, but don't tell the whole story. Our brains go into overdrive trying to piece you together. It becomes an addiction. The effect is devastating. We think about you between conversations. No, we obsess about you. We replay your words, searching for clues like detectives. You become a puzzle we're desperate to solve, and it consumes us. The rule, share 70% of what they ask for. Hold back 30%. Always leave them wanting more information. But the real test comes when you give us less attention. Scarcity of attention. We want what we can't have completely. Your attention should be the rarest commodity in our world. Most men shower us with constant validation, texting all day, liking every photo, responding within seconds. They think they're being romantic, but they're training us to take them for granted. Older men who understand female psychology do the opposite. They give us incredible attention, but only sometimes. When you're selective with your attention, every text becomes precious. Every compliment hits harder. Every moment you choose to focus on us feels like winning a prize, and losing it feels devastating. The effect? We start working for your validation instead of expecting it. We dress better when we know we'll see you. We craft messages more carefully, deleting and rewriting them 3 times. We compete with other priorities in your life, and we desperately want to win. The rule, give us 80% of the attention we want when we've earned it. The other 20%, that's what keeps us obsessed. But desire really explodes when you hold back sexually. Sexual restraint. Remember when I promised one trick makes us cheat in our heads? This is it. When a man wants us but doesn't immediately act on it, we lose our minds completely. Older men who drive us wild let sexual tension build like pressure in a volcano. They want us. We can feel it. But they don't pounce. They make us wait. They make us wonder. They make us imagine. The psychology. Anticipation is more powerful than satisfaction. When you show desire but delay gratification, our minds fill the gap with fantasies. We start undressing you mentally because you haven't tried to undress us physically. The effect is devastating. We go to bed thinking about what it would be like. We fantasize about you while we're with other men. We compare every touch to what yours might feel like. It's almost cruel how powerful this becomes. The rule. Show desire through your eyes, your energy, your presence, but let her wonder when you'll act on it. But nothing keeps us hooked without this next aura, status AA. We are biologically programmed to chase men who other people respect. It's not about money. Plenty of rich men repel us. It's about status, social proof, the sense that this man has value that extends beyond us. Watch how we behave around a man who commands respect in his field. Whether he's a master craftsman or respected professor, if other people look up to him, we notice immediately. When you walk into a restaurant and the owner greets you by name, when people ask for your opinion, when you're clearly good at something that matters, our attraction sensors light up. The effect isn't just attraction, it's pride. We want to be chosen by a man others respect because it reflects well on us. We start seeing ourselves through the lens of your status, and it's intoxicating. The rule: build respect in your field, your community, your circle. Status isn't about having the most. It's about being genuinely valued. But status means nothing if you can't contain our storms. Storm containment. Sometimes we test men by creating emotional chaos just to see if they'll hold steady when we're stressed, angry, or overwhelmed. Most men either try to fix us immediately or get swept up in our emotional tornado. Both responses make us lose respect instantly. But older men who understand us, they become the eye of our hurricane. Calm, unmoved, present, but unshaken. Here's the psychology. We need to know that our emotional storms won't destroy the men we love. We need to feel safe expressing intensity without breaking our relationship. When you stay grounded while we're spiraling, something magical happens. We start borrowing your calm. Your stillness becomes our anchor. We might be raging on the surface, but underneath we're thinking, this man can handle me at my worst. And it's deeply attractive. The rule: when she storms, become the lighthouse, steady, strong, and unmoved by the waves crashing around you. But the weapon that terrifies us most is memory. Weapon of memory. We reveal our deepest truths when we feel safe. And older men with game remember everything. Most men let our words float past them. But the ones who truly hook us, they collect our contradictions, our patterns, our secrets, and they use them. I'll be honest, this one feels scary to admit because it gives you so much power. When you say, last month you told me you never wanted to date someone in your field, but now you're considering it with Mark from accounting. We feel caught, exposed, and somehow impressed. The effect is that we become more honest because we know you're paying attention. We stop contradicting ourselves because we know you'll notice. We start thinking before we speak because we realize you're actually listening. And it's both terrifying and attractive. The rule: remember her patterns, her contradictions, her small details. Use them to show her that her words have weight with you. But even sharper than memory is timing. Timing discipline. Older men who master attraction know that when you speak matters more than what you speak. Most men word vomit, responding immediately to texts, interrupting conversations, filling every silence with noise. They think more talking equals more connection. They're completely wrong. Watch how a truly attractive older man operates. He pauses before responding to serious questions. He waits for you to finish completely before speaking. He lets silence stretch until it becomes powerful. When you take 3 seconds before responding to our question, we assume you're thinking deeply about us. When you don't immediately reply to our text, we wonder what you're doing that's more important, and we desperately want to be part of it. The effect is that we start hanging on your words because they're rare. Your voice becomes something we have to earn, not something that's constantly available. The rule: pause before responding. Let silence create anticipation. Speak when your words will have maximum impact, but silence itself is the killer weapon. Silence mastery. Remember when I said one trick makes us fight other women? We're getting close to it. But first, this weapon that absolutely terrifies us. We are scared of men who are comfortable with silence. Most men panic when conversation stops, rushing to fill gaps with jokes, questions, observations about the weather. But older men who understand psychological warfare, they weaponize quiet, the psychology. When you're completely comfortable with silence, we assume you have access to some secret knowledge we don't. When you ask us a question and then stay completely quiet, not nodding, not making encouraging sounds, we start over-explaining. The anxiety builds until we're practically begging for approval. The effect is that silence becomes your superpower. We reveal secrets, insecurities, truths we never meant to share. It's unsettling how exposed this makes us feel, but also intoxicating. We hate that you can unravel us with just nothing. The rule: get comfortable being uncomfortable with silence. Let quiet moments stretch until they become powerful tools. But silence means nothing without presence. Masculine scarcity. True masculine energy is becoming extinct, and we're starving for it. Most modern men have been trained to apologize for being men. They suppress their natural intensity, their directness, their physical presence. They think being agreeable makes them attractive. It makes them invisible. But older men who haven't been socially programmed yet, they still carry that rare, grounded masculine energy that makes us feel like women in their presence. I'm talking about the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth, takes up space without apology, and leads without asking permission. When you show up fully in your masculine power, decisive, protective, grounded, it activates our feminine energy automatically. We soften, we follow, we feel safe to be vulnerable. The effect is intoxicating because it's so rare. In a world full of men asking for permission to exist, you become the one who simply exists with authority. The rule: own your masculine energy without apology. Be decisive, take up space, lead when leadership is needed. But your presence becomes irresistible when paired with touch. Controlled touch. We crave physical connection, but only for men who understand that less is infinitely more. Most men either avoid touching us completely or they paw at us like teenagers. Neither approach creates the magnetic pull that keeps us thinking about you for days. Older men who drive us wild, they use touch like a master chef uses salt sparingly, purposefully, with devastating effect. A hand on the small of our back while guiding us through a door. Fingers brushing ours when you hand us something. A brief touch to our arm when making a point. Each one lasting just long enough to register. Then gone. The effect is that we start craving more contact. Our skin remembers where you touched us. We replay those moments, wondering when it will happen again. We start positioning ourselves where you might touch us naturally. You're training our bodies to want your touch while keeping it scarce enough that we never take it for granted. The rule? Touch with intention, not impulse. Make every contact brief, appropriate, and memorable. But touch isn't enough without emotional distance. Detachment game. We are most attracted to men who don't need us, even when they're with us. This sounds cruel, but it's psychological reality. When a man's happiness depends completely on us, we lose respect. When he maintains his own center of gravity regardless of our presence, we become obsessed. Most men make us their everything. Their mood depends on our mood. Their plans revolve around our availability. It feels suffocating, not romantic. But older men who understand attraction, they love us deeply while remaining fundamentally complete without us. When you have plans we're not part of, hobbies that don't include us, friends we haven't met, we don't feel excluded. We feel intrigued. The effect is that we work harder to become worthy of your choice. And that terrifies and attracts us simultaneously. The rule: build a life so fulfilling that we enhance it rather than complete it. Love us fully, but need us never. But detachment is lethal when combined with authority. Command energy. We want to be led by men who know how to lead, and we can sense authentic authority from a mile away. Most men either act like dictators demanding compliance through force, or they abdicate all leadership and ask us to make every decision. Both approaches kill attraction, but older men who understand female psychology, they lead through quiet authority. They make decisions without drama, give direction without aggression, and guide without forcing. When you say, "We're going to that restaurant tonight," instead of "Where do you want to eat?" When you handle the logistics of our date, when you take charge during stressful situations, something primal in us responds. The effect isn't submission, it's relief. We spend all day making decisions, solving problems, being in charge. With you, we can finally exhale and let someone else drive. But here's the secret. We test your authority constantly. We push back, create little rebellions, not because we don't want to follow, but because we need to know. Your leadership can handle our resistance. The rule: lead through confidence, not control. Make decisions when they need to be made, but command only works if you can disappear strategically. Vanishing act. When an older man disappears suddenly and calmly, we spiral into obsession. Most men announce their departures, explaining where they're going, why they're leaving, when they'll be back. They think transparency builds trust. Sometimes it just kills mystery. But men who understand psychological control, they vanish like smoke. No drama, no explanations, no long goodbyes. One day they're fully present, the next day they're gone. The psychology taps into our deepest fear of abandonment while triggering our hunting instincts. When someone valuable disappears without explanation, our brains assume we did something wrong and we become desperate to fix it. When you don't respond to texts for hours, when you're suddenly unavailable without explanation, we go crazy trying to figure out what happened. The anxiety is overwhelming. Your absence becomes more powerful than your presence because we start imagining all the reasons you might be gone, and most involve us losing you. The fear is paralyzing. The rule disappears strategically, not crave. Pull back suddenly but calmly. Let your absence create hunger for your return. But all of this leads to the trick we fear the most, the throne rule. This is it. The most dangerous psychological weapon an older man can wield. The one I promised you. Remember when I said one trick makes us fight other women? This is it, the throne rule. You are the prize. You are the king. You never step off your throne for anyone, not even us. Most men put us on pedestals, worship us, rearrange their entire lives around our moods. They think adoration equals attraction. They're completely wrong, and it makes us lose respect so fast it's painful to watch. Women don't want to be worshipped. We want to worship. We want to orbit around a man so valuable, so unshakably confident in his worth that he never questions whether he deserves us. It's infuriating how much this works on us. When you position yourself as the prize, you flip the entire dynamic. We start competing with other women for your attention. Yes, we become territorial, possessive, almost feral about protecting our access to you. We make ourselves more available, more sexually appealing, not because you demanded it, but because we can't stand the thought of losing access to the throne. Once we've experienced a man who truly operates from his throne, everyone else feels like a consolation prize. We might leave you, but we'll spend years wondering if we made the biggest mistake of our lives. The rule. Never step off your throne. You are the prize. Let us compete for the honor of being chosen by you. But 2 more secrets keep your throne secure forever. Selective vulnerability. Kings who show rare glimpses of their humanity become absolutely addictive. Most men are either completely closed off or they overshare constantly, dumping trauma, fears, insecurities on us like we're their therapists. It destroys attraction. But older men who understand psychological addiction, they guard their vulnerability like a precious resource, then share tiny pieces at exactly the right moments. When you've maintained mystery and authority for weeks, then suddenly share a brief story about your father. When you're always strong, but let us see a flash of uncertainty, we feel like we've been given access to a secret vault. The psychology contrast creates intensity. Your vulnerability hits harder because it's rare. We feel special, chosen, trusted with something valuable that other women don't get to see. The effect is intoxicating addiction. We replay those moments of openness over and over. We start working to earn more glimpses of your inner world, becoming better listeners, more supportive, more worthy of your trust. The rule, guard your vulnerability like gold, then share small pieces strategically. Make your openness feel like a reward she has to earn. But the final one is what makes us never forget you. Unbending self-respect. This is the final secret, the one that haunts us years after you're gone. Unbending self-respect. Most men bend their standards for us, tolerating disrespect, making exceptions for bad behavior, lowering boundaries to keep us around. They think flexibility equals love. It equals the death of attraction. But older men who understand their worth, they have lines that cannot be crossed, standards that never waver, self-respect that remains intact regardless of how much they love us. When you're willing to walk away from us if we don't treat you right, when you refuse to accept behavior that violates your values, something profound shifts. We don't feel rejected, we feel safe, because deep down, we need to know that the man we love respects himself enough to demand respect from others. Women who leave men with unbending self-respect carry regret for years. We know we lost someone who couldn't be manipulated, controlled, or broken. We might find other men, but we compare them all to the one who respected himself too much to beg us to stay. The rule, never compromise your self-respect for anyone. Love fully, but maintain your standards. Absolutely. These 17 tricks, they're not manipulation, they're mastery. Let me tie this all together because these 17 tricks aren't random techniques. They're the blueprint of masculine mastery. The older man who moves with stillness reveals himself in layers, makes his attention scarce, restrains his sexual impulses, radiates status, contains our storms, weaponizes memory, masters timing, uses silence, embodies rare masculine energy, controls his touch, maintains detachment, commands with authority, vanishes strategically, never leaves his throne, shares vulnerability selectively, and maintains unbending self-respect. That man becomes unforgettable. Because here's what younger men don't understand. Masculine energy doesn't chase. It attracts. It doesn't beg. It invites. It doesn't surrender its power. It shares it selectively with those who prove worthy. When we encounter a man who has mastered these principles, we don't just feel attraction. We feel recognition and terror. Like we're finally in the presence of the masculine energy we've been searching for our entire lives, but also like we're completely out of our depth. And if we're foolish enough to leave such a man, we carry the regret forever. It haunts our future relationships because we know we lost someone irreplaceable, someone who chose us from his throne rather than crawling to ours. The ache never fully goes away. These aren't tricks. They're the natural expression of a man who knows his worth and refuses to compromise it for anyone. Master them, and you become the standard by which we measure every other man for the rest of our lives, and everyone else falls short. Every single day, I expose secrets from the female playbook that men were never supposed to hear. Raw confessions about what we really think, what we really want, and what makes us obsessed. But here's the thing. This information is dangerous in the wrong hands and powerful in the right ones. If this video helped you understand something about female psychology that you never knew before, hit that like button. Your engagement tells me you're serious about mastering attraction, not just consuming entertainment. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 17 tricks surprised you most. I read every single comment and often create entire videos based on your questions. And if you want access to the female secrets I share every day, the ones that could completely transform how women respond to you, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here's the brutal truth. Every day you delay learning these psychological principles, another man is mastering them. And while you're still confused about why women say one thing but do another, he's becoming the man we can't stop thinking about. Miss one secret and another man will hear it, and she'll obsess over him instead of you. The choice is yours.